Sorry about that, guys. Just all right. I'm setting this up. I apologize. All right, let's get into it. Okay. We'll see what's going on. Hold on. Sorry about this. A little bit of a kerfuffle, but we'll deal with it. All right. So, let's get into it. Midterms. Right now, as it stands, the midterms to me seem like a fictitious thing, and we're going to wrap into this again as people get onto here. But midterms are being proclaimed as being something that's constitutional. It's something valuable that the Constitution has afforded us the right to the midterms. Right? Hold on for a second. But the truth of the matter is that the midterms are like the Constitution. This administration seems to want to pick and choose when, if they're going to listen to the midterms. Because right now, as it stands, we're dealing with midterms and the possibility of interference when we're watching the FBI be used to raid voting booths. You know what I'm saying? Sorry about that. I was just reading something. You're watching a situation where have a government agency that's absolutely just dismantling the Constitution whenever they seem fit. Avoid habeas corpus, due process. Trying to enter into other countries and take their dictators or their political figures out of there without our actual consent from Congress. The thing goes on, and I apologize. I'm a little scattered brained. I normally am a little bit more cleaned up on than this, so let me just shake it off. Let's get back into it. We're talking about the midterms. We're talking about impeachment. We're talking about exactly what's going on with the tangerine twat waffle and the Oval Circus. The truth is that while we're watching this whole thing come to be, we're complicit because we're allowing it to continue to happen. The fact is that our Congress people are not serving us well. They are not doing what needs to be done to protect us from this tangerine twat waffle. I mean, he's enriching his own life in his family on the backs of us, the taxpayers. I mean, he's going to take $10 billion out of the taxes that we pay to pay himself because he's now decided that he wants to sue the IRS for $10 billion. $10 billion. And that's going to be taxpayer money. It's not like we're taking that money from other countries. He's going to pilfer our national debt and take $10 billion out and profit it. That's not a president. That's a dictator. All right. So I was talking about the midterms, just started, and I see someone's come in. The reality is that midterms are going to be a big issue because everybody thinks that he's going to somehow allow these midterms to happen. He's not. Midterms are not going to happen because here's the deal. If he allows the midterms to happen for some reason, he already knows that he'll be impeached day one of the new Democrats taking over. So what happens when he's impeached? He'll be removed. You still have charges in Georgia that have not been swung on him yet. Do you guys realize that Georgia had indictments on the tangerine twat waffle that they were queued up? The two charges that Jack Smith brought forward, they still haven't been prosecuted, even though he's held back or the case wasn't moved forward because there was a favorable judge on Trump's side. Doesn't change the fact that Jack Smith still had two cases against him, and he said that he would be loving the chance to prosecute him on both. So technically, the next candidate that comes in to president could technically appoint Jack Smith back to the DOJ and allow him to conduct those two investigations. One way or the other, Trump's allowing midterms to happen would in turn make him immediately go to jail within 6 months of being out of the presidency because immunity will be gone. We all know that. His immunity will be gone, and he will still be held accountable for all of the stuff before he went into office. So still, do you think that that's somebody who's going to allow the midterms to happen? He's already called for a nationalization. He wants to nationalize the voting, and he wants to basically take it out of the state's hands and make it a federal process, which would allow the Republicans, who are obviously afraid of losing their majority, to be dictating where this is going to happen. And he's not talking about it uniformly. He's talking about doing it in the states that could possibly need this to happen. So that becomes a huge situation because here's the deal. If he's able to nationalize the voting and it then becomes a situation where it's a federal thing, then he's got total control of it. We're already seeing that he took the FBI as well as the NSA going into a voter registration booth to hold on for a second. I'm just reading something really quick. We don't live in North Korea. Get the out of the way. I'm going to vote. Listen, I want us to vote. Okay, just so we're clear, I want us to have the ability to vote. But I'm still telling you, with so much on the line for him, I don't see him allowing the midterms to happen. Everyone's like talking about Congress. Oh, Congress, we have laws and there's a constitution and we've got all of these laws. You can have all the laws in the world, but guess what? This guy is ignoring all of them. We're supposed to have constitutional rights, freedom of speech, the Second Amendment, and he's decimating it all. He's written an executive order outlawing and making homelessness a crime in this country. And of course, he's going to wind up using ICE to go after that once they've gone after all the immigrants. He's locking immigrants in cages. Has them breaking down doors of people's homes, cars, businesses, and taking people off and then throwing them in cages and deporting them out of the country to areas where they don't even come from. He actually got the Supreme Court to authorize and allow them to actually deport people at third countries, which means that if, let's just say, if someone's from Guatemala, they're sending them to El Salvador. Oh, someone from El Salvador, they're going to go to Africa. So you're literally watching, and I'm just the fact of the matter is that he's violating constitutional laws consistently. Not only that, but he's got his minions going around saying stuff like Steve Miller telling ICE agents that they have absolute immunity, which is absolutely false. And Steve Miller doesn't even have a law degree to be able to speak to that effect. He's not from the Department of Justice. He doesn't even have a law degree, but yet he's telling ICE agents that they have absolute immunity. It makes no sense, and there is no such thing as absolute immunity for federal or law enforcement officers. That just doesn't happen. So the fact is, Obama did it only 3 times as much. Okay, first off, I'm going to address this, and because I said I want to debate things, not just be on here ranting. But let's get into it. Obama did it. You're right. Obama deported 3.2 million people in a course of 8 years, which works out to be about 300,000 people. Now, in all of those deportations per year that he did, there was never a violation of the Constitution. There was never a violation of due process. And he had immigration judges actually see all of those people before he had them deported out of the country. So he actually complied with the law as it was standpoint. And how do I know that? Because he was a black president in a town full of white people. He wasn't allowed to get away with anything, okay? And I know that sounds racist, but the fact of the matter, it's true. He could not get away with anything. He wore a tan suit and he got ridiculed for weeks for it because he wasn't taking his job serious just because he decided to have style. You think there will be consequences? Well, how will there be consequences? Because we've watched him literally fire people that have tried to stand up to him. And the thing of it is this, just so we get clear, the same Congress that impeached Bill Clinton for lying about having sex with a intern who was age appropriate, I mean, not morally, but legally of age, and he got impeached for it. That same Congress is now staying silent as the Tangerine Twat Waffle has not only lied under oath or lied to the American people about knowing Jeffrey Epstein, but lied about the fact that he's been to the island. These are all things that he has done. He's lied to the American people. He's lied to Congress. He's lied to the people of this country about his affiliation with Epstein. That's one thing. What about the fact that he's enriched his life and he's basically used the position of president to make his family money? Because he went in to the White House about 1.1, 1.2 billionaire, and now he made just on crypto alone 1.4 billion. He's gotten a plane from Qatar from known people that associate with terrorists, giving him a plane that's worth over 400,000 $400 million that he's going to wind up keeping. Again, another violation. Then he's got people working below him doing stuff that's violating the Constitution. The plane was not to the US. The plane was actually given to him that was going to be put into his presidential library after he leaves office, which means that he would have use of it for the rest of his life. He absolutely has lied. So lying is, Trump, Clinton lied, and this Congress, a lot of the people that are in Congress right now were a part of the impeachment then. But yet those same Republicans that were calling for justice because Bill Clinton lied about getting a mouth hug in the Oval Office from Monica Lewinsky, aren't saying anything about the fact that there's a very good possibility that Sasha Riley was right and that the tangerine twat waffle took a tent spike up the rectum. Here's another thing. He has sued over 4,000 people over the last 30 years, but yet Sasha Riley and the 27 women that have come out, like Katie Jackson, who've said Trump raped me, he has never sued them, not once, hasn't even brought them up, won't even acknowledge their existence. Do you notice how he has never once had any kind of statement to make about the victims of Epstein? He hasn't come out and said that's very horrible. Oh my God, I can't imagine what they're going through. Nothing. He has not denounced Epstein to the survivors. He has not shown any kind of compassion or consideration or empathy for what those women went through, or people, because there's boys, men as well, that were victims. Nothing. That's the president that we have right now. But he's also, when people are talking about unity and love and that Jesus is forgiving and this, that, and the other, he came out at the Charlie Kirk memorial, which was more like a Grindr profile update photo shoot, and said, I don't believe in forgiveness. I believe in getting even. That's the president of the United States. That's horrific. Gary, what proof do you need? The internet is amazing. Google Earth is amazing. But this still doesn't change the fact that when Nixon was impeached or was going to be impeached, they had three things against him: abuse of power, congressional. Well, hold on, sorry, just lost my abuse of power, obstruction of justice, and contempt of Congress. Three things. And before he could actually be impeached, he resigned because he wanted to show integrity and respect to the office that he held. Finally, Bill Clinton lied, so it was contempt of Congress because he lied under oath to Congress about having sexual relations with somebody. Now, you've got a House Oversight Committee that's doing a deep dive into the Epstein files and is looking for justice. They are walking right past all of the allegations that have been brought forward, or tips, or innuendo, and all these statements that are on against Trump, and they're going to Bill Clinton to talk to him about his relationship with Epstein. Your boss is right there. You could ask him because for the guy, he's just so you guys realize, Bill Clinton is mentioned 1,500 times in the Epstein files. Trump, 38,000 so far, and they haven't released all the files. So my point was this: the same Congress that impeached Bill Clinton for lying about getting a mouth hug from an intern in the Oval Office is now dead silent, watching the tangerine twat waffle enrich his family, enrich himself, obstruct justice, abuse power, use the DOJ as its own personal lawyer firm, attacking his political adversaries, all unfounded. He's ordered the DOJ as well as the FBI to scrub his name from the Epstein files. He's actually been complicit with making sure that the files weren't released, and then finally, after Congress had no choice but to put it through, he had to sign into order. And then instead of making sure that the DOJ actually released everything, He's been just idly by watching them not comply with the law. I'm not lost. These are all facts. These are all real, you know. But again, yeah, you might be right. There's probably butt farm. I'm pretty sure Bill Clinton was Bubba. There was, you know, what the funny thing was is there was a movie called Prime Colors. John Travolta did it years ago, and it was about Bill Clinton, and he was referenced as Bubba in that multiple times. So Bill Clinton, you know, I mean, come on. I mean, he had the swagger like he had a big D. So the fact that, you know, whatever. What about that other video or that photo we saw of like it was Bill Clinton sitting in a chair and Trump was like in between his legs like he was going to go down on him or something. That was a cute one too. Yeah, well, James, I'm going to tell you honestly, I'm new to doing lives, so I appreciate the fact that people are chiming in. I have to learn how to. Um, so I don't know how to. All right, so I got to see how to actually block people. But anyway, the point of this is that the midterms are not going to happen. And the reason why the midterms aren't going to happen is because if that midterms happen, he gets impeached, then all of the criminal activity and procedures that were supposed to go after him will continue because Georgia had subpoenas and had record cases against him that hadn't been prosecuted. Jack Smith's cases hadn't been prosecuted, hadn't been moved forward because of the clout and because how are you going to put a seated president into prison? So those two more counts, and that doesn't include all the stuff that he's done now. He's operating like he's got a get out of jail free card, and the truth of the matter is that he does right now because while the Republicans refuse to follow the law, while he refuses to follow the law, and the Democrats don't have the ability to actually do anything, this is where we're at. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's a misconception about the Democrats. The Democrats have the votes. They just don't want to commit political suicide because the truth of the matter is that right now, today, you have 214 Democrats in office. They could actually put a vote for a petition for impeachment. Right now, that being said, there's at least 4, 5, 6 different Republicans that are kind of siding with the Republican Party. We know this, so they could get the petition and the order up and put him up for impeachment for at least for the vote. Whether it passes the Senate, we don't know. But the thing of it is this: without trying, we'll never know. And there's a lot of people that are slowly starting to retract. There's a lot of Democrats that are quitting and the whole bit. And that's that big cushion that the Republican Party had is starting to dwindle because here's the fact. The Democrats now have 15 representatives, and the Republican Party is losing people. So it's going to wind up becoming a point where right now, as it stands, there's a 1 point difference between the two parties. So the majority is gone. Mike Johnson, if another person retires or there's another special election, he could easily see himself being removed as House Speaker, which would be great for the country. Tech Tyrant said, "Don't block people, keep it real." All right, I'll listen to you for right now. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, if everyone could hit the like button, that'd be great. Like I says, I'm not used to doing lives on here, but I would appreciate that. I know they're free, so Mazel Tov or blessings to anybody that does. That's great. But the thing of it is this: so the midterms, he's impeachment, the whole bit. So why would somebody knowing that he's going to go to prison if he's out of office allow the midterms to happen? And before you guys say, "Oh well, the state run it," he just went and stole voting polls from Georgia. He'll go to Ohio and all. I guess he's going to go all the swing states, all the blue states. That's why he's been attacking with ICE all of the blue states because he wants to isolate them. Because if he can create civil unrest and martial law, then maybe he'll be able to suspend elections or show, well, there's no way that could possibly be a valid, whatever like that. Like he is trying to impede on it 100%. And I don't think since he lost on the gerrymandering, that the gerrymandering of the districts that didn't work for him, that he hasn't got other options. And they're anxiously trying to keep him in office because they know they're all going to go to jail. Think about who's going to go to jail if he loses the midterms. You've got Bimbo Barbie, she's impeached, guaranteed. Steve Miller, he's impeached. Kristi Noem, impeached. Kash Patel, impeached. And some of these people, just like the very first term cabinet, they're all going to be in jail, disbarred, or under some major issue. Well, you know what? Trump doesn't love you because Trump only loves underage girls, and anybody that's operating on this is probably not going to be, in his demographic. It's like me going to churches anymore. I'm too old. I knew I was too old when they stopped giving me candy bars and sodas for free. Hello, everybody. I'm just trying to read. I thought you were so handsome. I tell open. This person said that they thought I was handsome until I opened my mouth. That's all right. That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's still a pretty face to sit on, and I can hold my breath for a really long time. I'm just saying. So anyway, it should be. You know what? The funny thing is that there is more people in this country than government. We, the people, should be standing up for each other. Do you know what really bothers me the most is Democrats who are are totally outraged by all that's going on, have still conceded and caved on so many deals for whatever reason. And here's the thing: while they are sitting in Capitol Hill in a heated room, you've got U.S. citizens, their constituents, walking the streets defending the democracy that they're supposed to be defending. They're supposed to be the front line. They're supposed to be sticking up for us, and they're not. They are sitting there on their thumbs watching this whole happen. And I'm sorry, they're all complicit. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm right for wrong. And when children are being harmed by adults and they are being and then you've got adults that could do something that are standing around, oh, well, we don't know what to do. Give me a break. These files have been here for how long? Anybody could have stepped up and done this. This didn't have to happen now. This could have happened during Biden. This could have happened before Trump took office the first time. Because here's the deal: these files go back a long time. They go back 25 years at least. These two were in the 90s playing around with each other. Trump had uh, beauty pageants, beauty queens. Was it Miss Teen USA, modeling agencies, all kinds of things. He's clearly more deeper into this than everybody wants to realize. There's no question about it. Epstein had what? He had an island. Yes, he had money. He has certain things. But where was he getting all of the girls from? And where was Maxwell getting them from? Because Maxwell was friends with Trump long before she was dating Epstein or involved with Epstein. So again, like I says, when you look at the whole thing, you realize, wait a minute, was Epstein really the mastermind, or was he just the face of the operation that got all of the information? Because we all know that there's such things as beards, women that are with men, and even though men are gay and they're just trying to hide it, or there's a false front, there's a shell company that's in front of it. But where was Epstein getting all of the girls from? And why was he kicked out of Mar-a-Lago? And why was there so many allegations of girls from Mar-a-Lago going to Epstein Island? Or Epstein's estate in Palm Beach County. And here's a fun fact. If everybody didn't know this, let me explain to you. Maxwell was the only person in Florida at the time when Epstein was taken into custody, which means that she went to the house and probably wiped out all of the hard drives and incriminating data. And that's why right now she's sitting in Camp Fed with a puppy, because she probably made Blanche realize, hey, you know what? I've got all the hard drives, because there are reports showing that when they showed up to his estate in Palm Beach and was trying to execute a warrant and capture everything, they found computers completely empty, hard drives gone, books, ledgers, all the things that a financier would have gone out of that house. So either he knew well in advance, or when they heard he got picked up, Ghislaine Maxwell was at the house and she swiped everything out. So she's got the receipts, she's got the hard drives, she probably has most of the files somewhere tucked away. And here's the deal. Epstein was a master trafficker. He had ties to Russia, to all of these different places, right? So why would he off himself? If he had all of this information and all of this blackmail on everybody, people that blackmail, they're cowards. They're not taking the hard way out. They're not going to unalive themselves. He had all of this stuff as blackmail to help himself. I mean, look at Diddy, for God's sake, or Sean Combs. He had videos and this, that, and the whole yards, and all of his cases got dropped down, so he's serving 4 years. I'm pretty sure that Epstein had a lot more than just, whatever that Sean Combs had, and I'm sure he could have used that blackmail. Why would he have emailed himself days before he took into custody his client list? And why would he have been trying to protect himself to make sure that he had a place to get all of this information? So Chad just says, but all we've got is Democrats on the list so far. Really? Because Elon Musk is on the list. And Trump, by the way, just so you know, Trump was a Democrat all the way up until he ran for president the very first time in 2016. In fact, he was a Democrat right up until he entered into the race. And he even quoted on saying on three different syndications. One was Oprah Winfrey, one was on Howard Stern, and one was on, I think it was, I can't remember, it was Maury Povich or whatever like that. He said that if he was ever going to run for president, he would go as a Republican because he can get Republicans to believe everything. Don't make it about the party. Unfortunately, it is about the party because either the Republican Party was very toxic before Trump came around, or Trump made the Republican Party toxic. And I'll give you that. It could go either way. But what I do know is that we all have seen movies where 100 different people go try to run for election. There's jury, runaway jury, all of these shows, these Scandal and this, that, and the other. You're telling me that people didn't do background checks on Trump when he was trying to become president? You're telling me there weren't background checks when, he was trying to get reelected to see what was going on? Everybody must have known about this to some degree. There had to be some evidence, but yet it was suppressed because unfortunately, this country is more broken than you realize. Because realize this is Trump. He didn't have an army to get elected the first time. He didn't use a military force to get elected the second time. So people wanted him into office. 77 million Americans voted him into office. The politicians that were there in 2016, whatever like this, they didn't come up with some way to stop him from coming in because they're all financially getting off from this. And the reality of it is that there's no way this guy did all of these things and it was kept completely secret. Somewhere there was a file and they knew what was going on, but they allowed it to happen, which proves that the United States is far more broken than most people want to realize. Because how could you possibly let this come in? But they did. Who else could they have voted for? They could have voted for Harris. You know what I mean? They could have voted for Harris. But here's the thing. Let's not blame the people that voted for Trump. Let's not blame the people who voted for Harris. Why don't you blame the people that never bothered voting at all? Because that's a big factor. You realize that you had so many people that didn't bother voting. There's like 100 million people that didn't vote. Yet, because there's 348 million people in the United States, 77 voted for Trump, 74 voted for Harris, and that leaves at least 100 million people that were of voting age that could have voted that didn't vote because they didn't care. What do I think about Virginia Gumphrey? I feel horrible for her. I think that woman absolutely was trying to tell everybody the truth. And the thing of it is this: Kanye West said something about a year and a half ago, which sticks to me to this day. In a world full of people telling lies, telling the truth will sound crazy. You know what I'm saying? She was telling the world the truth, and they were calling her a liar. They were treating her like she was crazy. Could you imagine what that did to her? Do you realize the extra traumatic situation that must have been like? To think about it. You have had something happen to you so horrible, and then you try telling everybody, and nobody wants to believe it. So you have to suffer not only the pain of whatever it was that you went through, which I can't imagine, and then on top of it, you have to live a life of everybody calling you a liar or trying to accuse you of something horrific. Like a girl would want to admit that she'd been raped. Like I don't I I'm sure there are women that could do that kind of thing. I just can't believe that that's a possibility. So it's horrible what she went through. Yeah, Kanye West was listen, Kanye West might have been crazy or is crazy, but again, like it says, in a world full of people telling lies, the truth sounds crazy. And again, a couple of months ago, if we had said that Sasha Riley stuck a tent spike up Trump's butt, we all would have called it a liar. There's no way that's possible. But here we are. And again, still remains. Here's the other problem. The very Congress that got Bill Clinton impeached is the very Congress that doesn't want to impeach Trump. I'm sorry, but no, not doing anything is just as bad as being there. And the funny thing is that Tom Blanche, who said today, there's nothing illegal about going to a party that Epstein was throwing, or because there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, there is, because that partying with Epstein or partying with Diddy, if you're involved at a party and there's something illegal happening, like, oh, I don't know, a girl being raped or some type of harm being done to a child, and you're doing nothing about it, then you become a co-conspirator. So there is a problem with going to a party when there's something illegal happening. You know what I mean? If a girl ODs at a party and you're there, you can be in trouble for that. If a bartender serves a woman too many drinks and she winds up driving off the side of a road and killing a family of two, the bartender becomes complicit because he allowed it to happen. So if you're there and you allow it to happen, then you're complicit in it. So just going to an Epstein party because you like to party. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, there is. But that's what the deputy DOJ said on national television. This guy, whose claim to fame was getting Trump convicted of 34 felonies. Yeah, that. How many of you, by the show of like flags or whatever, red flags, if you had an attorney who defended you and you got convicted with 34 felonies, would you freaking ask him to be the deputy director of the country? Does that seem like a sound resume? I mean, honestly, granted, he did hire a freaking a podcaster to be the director of the FBI. I almost vomited. I'm not guilty. I'm a journalist. I almost vomited again. Newsom and AOC. I said that actually. I said Gavin Newsom and AOC or Crockett. That woman don't play either. Why not? Honestly, here, let me ask you guys a question, ladies. This goes to you. What would be bad with having a woman president now? For 249 years, men have been running this country. Is there any reason why a woman can't do it? Honestly, think about it. Could a woman do any worse than what the Tangerine Twat Waffle's doing right now? And I know that sounds sexist. I apologize. I'm not trying to be. What I'm just saying is that if you've been trying for 249 years to get it right and you can't get it done, perhaps maybe we should try a new way. That's all I'm saying. Any of them. I'd rather have the crustiest of old men. I can't disagree with you. Newsom, honestly, see, the problem though is that anybody that ever comes out front running this early usually doesn't get elected. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think about it, front runners never wind up getting elected. It's always they have got all the steam up front, but when it comes to finishing at the end, they're out of gas. So you're talking about the presidential election, which is still another 3 years away. Uh, you think he's going to carry this momentum for that long? I just think it's going to be you know, a shelf life. A woman would do as good, if not better, at this point. Agreed. Sorry, Faith. I don't disagree with you. Honestly, I'm a guy, obviously. Yep, I'm a guy. And the reality of it is that I think that why not have a woman president? I, perhaps maybe it'll actually put things in better perspective. That's my personal opinion. I think Newsom is an amazing individual. I think that he's done a lot for his state, even though there's a lot of things that you could say, well, he should have done this, he should have done that. But overall, the fact that he's basically, standing up to Trump kind of alleviates a lot of the dislike, you might have for some of his topics. Jim Jack just said women are too emotional. Really? Do you mean emotional like going on Truth Social and ranting for like 3 hours and then demanding Greenland out of nowhere? You mean that kind of emotional? And here's the funny thing, like everyone wants to say, well, a woman will be so emotional because she'll get her period once a month and so she'll be erratic. Do you realize the average age of everyone that's been elected to president? They've all been in their 50s and older. So like, how many women still have their period in their 50s and 60s? And I'm not a woman, so I don't know, but I'm just saying is that emotional erratic behavior that you're talking about, which Trump seems to be still embodying a lot. Um, you know, women in their 60s, are they still having, their period where they're gonna have all those emotional erratics? And it's amazing. Women are good enough to bear your children, take care of everything, but yet you don't think she's good enough to run a company? That's pretty sexist. I stopped at 47. Yeah. I mean, and honestly, and you think, oh, and the worst part of it is, would you rather have a woman or Trump, who will be 84 years old if he ran in 2028? What do I think about Trump wanting to drive housing prices up? He's already driving them up by all of the illegal detainment and deportation of immigrants, because most of the homes that are built now are built by immigrants, and this guy is taking and cutting that labor force. Florida's taken a huge hit in the housing market because a lot of those homes now are delayed in building because they're most people are either afraid to go to work, or they don't have the papers to actually work, and now they're scared shitless to go to work. Got to realize something: the housing market, the immigrants that even have documentation in Florida are afraid to go to work because they're afraid that they're going to get detained for a couple of weeks while they figure out, oh wait, they're actually here legally, because they're detaining people that have documentation because they're saying, well, it's fraudulent, because every person that they detain is going to their bonus, to their $5,000 per person they capture, whatever. So they got to keep capturing people, even if they get thrown out. Do you realize that most of the people that are being detained are being released weeks later anyway? The numbers that they're saying about how many people they're detaining aren't rightful, because the number of people that are actually being deported out of the country is a fraction of what they're capturing. Stop defending criminals. So I should stop talking about Trump because he's a criminal. 34 felonies. His approval rating is lower than his felony count. Imagine that. That's another first for Trump. Congratulations. Do I like Camilla? I don't know if I have any feelings for one way or the other. I mean, in comparison, I would take her all day long. I would literally like wash her feet just to be able to if she could get rid of Trump. Not even gonna lie, I'll wear a pink thong and everything right in Daily Plaza, scrubbing her feet. I don't give a shit, because I can tell you right now, anybody would be better than him. Why not believe E.G. King? Why would these women come forward? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I know, because it's one thing to like try to find a way to get money out of somebody, blah blah blah. Blah. But they're going after some very powerful people that have allegedly made people disappear. And in case you didn't know about Michigan Lake, or Lake Michigan, where apparently a few children were unalived off the side of his boat. MAGA Cope is fun to watch. I don't know what that means. Trump loves listen, Trump loves people that are dumb because he can manipulate them, and that's what he's looking for. I mean, the man has not one successful business. That should tell you something, yet he's running the country. The man has gone bankrupt 6 times. The man has been barred from owning pageants, beauty contests, or, um charities. He's not allowed to affiliate, own, or be a part of any university. And on top of that, he's not allowed to do business in the state of New York for 3 years because of his illegal actions. So, tell me again how anybody else. I'm an idiot. I've been called much worse by better people. So an idiot is kind of an upgrade. Thank you very much. He's a billionaire, but he's stupid. Well, actually, the reason why Trump has a lot of his money was because his dad left him like, half a billion dollars when he died. And his dad was pretty smart. A lot of the big deals that Trump had made in the 70s and early 80s was all because of Frank Trump, not because of Donald. The man's a billionaire. So there's a lot of people that are billionaires. Does it mean, there's a lot of Saudi princes in that sleep with 12-year-old children. They're billionaires. Doesn't make them good people. All right, Terry Smith, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Because the beach whale prosecutor in New York promised to get go after Trump. She's a 304. I don't know what 304 is supposed to identify. Oh, you're talking about like she's a DEI hire. Well, she was good enough to get him convicted. So 34 felonies. So I think that you should stop hating on her. The fact that she just took down your porcelain god. Every business he failed, he bankrupted a casino. Do you know that not only did he bankrupt the Taj Mahal, but the job actually went bankrupt while it was being constructed. He actually ran out of money halfway through. He wound up going bankrupt, buying it back for pennies on the dollar. And there are like 100 contractors who never got paid for doing that job. And on top of that, it literally was losing money on day one because he had to get some kind of like obscene, like it had to like profit like $10 million a day to be able to stay afloat. And it never did. This is what TDS looks like. The mafia should get him. Look him down how by getting him elected. Name one contract. It's all public